Excuse me.
Can I help you?
Hello. It's my house. Is something going on?
Well, Mr. Joyner, your sleepover buddy, Robert Weirdick, is wanted for murder and treason and is presently in possession of highly classified state secrets which he intends to sell to our enemies. You mind?
What?
I need you to tell me everything and anything about your contact with Agent Stone.
Agent Stone.
Bob, your friend Bob. Come on, stay with me, please.
Okay, I think there's a misunderstanding. No, he is not my friend.
Then why did he list you as his emergency contact in all his personnel forms?
All right, I barely even know the guy.
Then why was he sleeping on your couch?
Because we went out and had drinks last night.
Oh, so you went out drinking with your non-friend.
Okay. All right, you're not. Time out. I'm pressing the timeout button, okay? You guys barged in my house. I pay my taxes. So you're not gonna come here and treat me like I'm the enemy. Okay, listen to me. This man is not, I repeat to you, he is not my friend. Zero allegiance.
All right, Mr. Joyner. Prove it.
Thanks, everyone. Good afternoon. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Thanks for being here. Congratulations on the film. It's terrific, and you're so fun in it.
Thank you.
We were just talking a couple of minutes ago. One of the things I love about it and your performance in it is that I love it when actors you know from serious roles or who have done serious things get silly. I think there's nothing better than watching a serious actor get silly. Do you agree with that? Is it fun for you to kind of get silly?
Oh, it's so much fun. It's so much easier to show up at work, laugh your butt off, go have lunch, finish your day by laughing your butt off. It's much easier than crying.
There's actually a great moment in here where you walk by a guy and you've got a taser and you're a very tough CIA operative, and as you just walk by, you just nonchalantly taser the guy as you go by without even giving him a second look. It's just so great.
Oh yeah, this character definitely has, she knows how to do things in the moment. If that were me, I would walk away, go home that night, and go, oh, why didn't I say this to him in retaliation? But she's quick. She's no nonsense.
There's also a terrific scene where you're supposed to torture the Rock, and as you see in the outtakes, there's a moment where you don't torture the Rock, you tickle the Rock. Give him a little tickling on the side. It must have been so fun to be with Dwayne and with Kevin on this, right?
Yeah, I just racking my brain this entire film, how can I get my hands on the Rock? How can I arrange this? Yeah, he's quite ticklish.
Were there a lot of moments like that on the film just to break the tension, you guys just being silly?
Well, I have to say, I always think there's so many different levels of actors. There's the ones who roll out of bed, drink coffee, do their work. Then there's a celebrity who happens to be in a box office hit and they're suddenly a big actor. And then there are the superstars. Dwayne and Kevin are both superstars because they get up at 4:30 in the morning, they have a very big workout, they take care of their bodies, they take care of their families, they enjoy life, they enjoy this career, and they work so hard. It's not just charm with those guys. Yeah. And it's amazing to be around. And then that energy trickles down to everybody on the set, and everybody's trying to get up a little earlier. Right. I didn't hit the gym, but they just spread joy. They're really amazing to be around.
Yeah. Now you grew up in Flushing, right, in Queens, here in New York.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Here for Flushing. And when you went to the high school for the performing arts, did you have either a specialty that you wanted to pursue? Did you want to do more drama than comedy, more comedy than drama, anything like that?
Well, my parents always said, they said, your career really surprised us because I really was a goofy kid. I was probably more like Holly than any other character I've played. And it just so happens that I'm a young actor, and I go on many auditions, and the first one I happened to be cast in were just plays, and then Chekhov, and all these really heavy dramas, and Tennessee Williams. And so comedy, although I didn't have as much experience professionally in it, it does feel nice to be there. That feels familiar to me.
Yeah. In fact, you got Tony nominations for Uncle Vanya and for Streetcar Named Desire, so for more your serious things. And we've seen you in a lot of things, but Gone Baby Gone, what I love about that year for you, 2007, was that it was both the year of Gone Baby Gone, where you play a very intense role of a woman who has not very good parenting skills, let's just put it that way.
No.
And yet it was also the beginning of your arc on The Office, in which Holly starts to bring a little bit of sort of goofy love to Steve Carell. Was it kind of nice to kind of have that, both sides of that paradigm for you?
Oh, it was amazing. And that was such a gift because I knew, even with the success, this great gift from Gone Baby Gone, I been around long enough to know that the next job that someone's going to offer me is going to be another drug-addicted parent or someone strung out, you know. So I was like, how can I get a skirt, a hairdo, and a comedy? And I said to my agent, I was like, can you get me on that show, The Office? I was like, so luck would have it, though, that Paul Lieberstein and I worked together years ago, and The Office, they're all fans of The Wire, so it kind of all came together as this perfect storm. So I just wanted to keep turning sharp angles away from the last part that I played.
Yeah, no, you've done that beautifully, being able to kind of pivot from one to the other. In fact, let's talk about The Wire, which is such a Beatty, that character that was a very big fan favorite, season 2, and subsequent seasons as well. Was it great to be on a show like that, where you could really dive into a character, watch it kind of progress, and watch that that evolution of that character over multiple episodes and seasons?
Yeah, The Wire, I was such a fan of that show from the first season, so when I joined, it kind of was... It was surreal for me, and even though I've been around other actors and I know that they're playing characters, but I kind of had to pinch myself quite a bit. I was like, what am I doing here? And I remember one day being on the sound stage, and up in the rafters was the orange couch. I was like, oh my God, there's a couch. The couch is amazing. So, but no, the Wire, and we knew at the time, even though the viewership was really small at the time we were airing, but we knew this was something different in the writing and the message, and we were all just this like collected group of, I don't know, just oddballs who knew we were making something different that could, you know.
How much did you research that role? Because that's a role that I feel like you'd be able to kind of do a little bit of reading on it, but you really kind of have to almost be out there and do some deep research, right?
Yeah, well, I worked on my Baltimore accent, which I think I keep for the first 4 episodes, and then I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Just kind of drop those O's that like down the ocean, huh? And then, but no, I didn't have to, because my character wasn't very good at her job. She was novice, so I didn't do too much training. I did have, when they loaded me up with the belts and the gear and the gun and the baton or whatever, it actually pulled my pants down. It was too heavy for me, so they gave me a plastic gun after that.
All the stuff on the belt was plastic. It wasn't real heavy.
Like toy kits, yeah.
You mentioned accents. You actually have a real talent for accents. You do a terrific Boston accent, memorable. It was an Oscar-nominated role in Gone Baby Gone. Your Jersey accent in the terrific Win-Win, Tom McCarthy's film with Paul Giamatti, is fantastic. The Baltimore accent on The Office. Do you like doing accents? Is that something that...
I do. I always did them as a kid. I always, the first job was always to make my family laugh and imitate family members, or Gilbert Gottfried or Paul Lynde. Like that was my, that's what I knew would make them like me. If I could be somebody else, like me, I'll be anybody you want me to be.
Did you say Paul Lynde, by the way? You imitated Paul Lynde?
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could,
And Gilbert Gottfried?
Yeah. Can you be dirty on this show?
Sure, why not?
This is
They can
my
edit it
favorite
out, I
Paul.
think.
This is really dirty. It smells like pussy, I think.
That's too much. I guess they can edit it out. Maybe we're on a delay.
We're gonna edit that
right.
out.
Like, all the famous delays. There was George Carlin. There's Amy Ryan.
Yeah. No, I trust me. I was really good at these when I was 9.
Did you? I mean, is that a talent that you had like early on, and you said I want to be able to try and find roles? I mean, did you in Stella? It's a little bit of one in A Streetcar Named Desire that you had right on stage. Did you kind of have one for Stella for?
Oh yeah,
Desire?
sure, yeah. I mean, that's that's a Southern lady.
Yeah. Can you do that? I mean, is there one that's your favorite? Is there
No, to be honest, like these accents are things like I can do them at the time. I was so lucky with Boston because we shot in Boston, which helps. I always think like if these films were shot in Canada, it would be such a weird mix of sound. But like when you're dropped in, I mean, I kind of do that when I travel anyway. I find myself, because out of just having fun and picking up, and the next thing I know, I'm like have a slight Irish accent or English accent, but.
Being able to kind of hear it, you pick up on it a little bit.
Yeah.
You mentioned Streetcar. Are you always looking for more stage things to do? You're so terrific on stage.
Oh, thank you. I actually, I'm going to do a play this fall that I'm really excited about.
What is it?
It's called Love, Love, Love by Mike Bartlett at the Roundabout off Broadway. But I feel like if I don't keep up with these plays every 3 or 4 years, I'm to use it or lose it kind of a skill.
It's like a muscle you need to exercise.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess Birdman was also similar. Probably in film the closest you could get to that, right? Because obviously
Yeah.
the staging and the blocking, right? Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Did you and the whole Birdman team look at it that way, as if it was?
Oh yeah, we rehearsed it as a play, and there was no stopping, and the thrill in that was being with your castmates as one unit, as which you are, you have to do in the theater. So, the fear was that you would mess up, drop a line. Not only do you have to start over, but Zach and Michael have to start their scene over. That started in the hall, that connected up. So the safety was that we all did that at one point, so you didn't feel so bad after a while, but it was intense.
So like somebody does a great 15-minute take, like they're talking, they're forever, and then if you're at the end of that and you mess up, they're like, you mess up the entire 15-minute take. Yeah, it's a lot of stress, right?
Yeah.
And I guess Win-Win was maybe a little like that because McCarthy has got that. His dialogue, Tom McCarthy's dialogue, feels very, very rich and very much like the theater. So maybe Win-Win was a little like that, at least in terms of character development.
Yeah, but Win-Win, I feel like Tom's language too is so, it's so authentic, and it seems there's a simplicity to it, but that simplicity makes it so authentic that you recognize these people right away, and it's not a heightened reality in that world, but then when it's all put together, it's obviously this. Yeah.
You also, by the way, in Birdman, you get to say the terrific subtitle. You get to say the unexpected virtue of ignorance. Like you're reading off the headline. For you to be able to say, anyone to be able to say that phrase.
You get to clap when you say
exactly.
the title of the play.
Right.
Right.
And then you did Bridge of Spies last year. I really thought it was terrific, and your performance in there is so great. And one of the things I love is that Spielberg, amongst all of his other gifts, really sort of works within interesting constructs. Like he has characters that are archetypes, but there's other levels going on that he can then play within that. And I thought that your character, the wife of Jim Donovan, Tom Hanks' character, like it sort of represents hearth and home, but there's also another aspect to it, which is that she represents safety and the safety of the known. Is that one of the things, or what were some of the things that you and Spielberg and Tom talked about?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's safety, and it's also, I mean, I feel like she also represented the collective fear of America at that time. Like, you're so afraid of this. You're not even thinking straight. Like, she keeps mixing up, what a traitor means. It's like you have to be American to be a traitor. And she's saying, "This man is a traitor." He's like, "No, he's Russian. It's not a traitor." But so I feel like she was America. But Stephen, he loves detail. He spent a long time at that dinner table scene, making sure the kid was bored, and just draw numbers in your napkin because you're starving, you want to eat. And so there's 12 things going on at once, so it's not this static photo of a family in 1950s where everything's so perfect,
And in fact, in your performance, there's levels to it. With just a glance, you can sort of shift in perception a little bit of one level of understanding in the scene to another. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you do a lot of research? You met with some of her family, right?
I met, a mutual friend of a dear friend of mine is friends with James Donovan's granddaughter. Wow. And he put me in touch with her, and she just handed over wedding photo albums and stories and just details of her, because there wasn't much about Mary Donovan, and I saw this beautiful photograph of her at her wedding, and she's got these huge glasses on. She's like, "Oh yeah, Grandma was blind as a bat," so I was like, "Stephen, can I wear glasses? Because then I can also see during filming. That would be helpful." So.
But I like telling details like that, moments that are sort of something that. And in fact, she took them off in some pictures, right? Sort of vanity kind of thing,
exactly,
right? Yeah. Little aspects like that of characters. Is there anything like that in Central Intelligence where you sort of feel like, there's this little pin, or there's some way that she would walk that would say a lot about this character?
No, I don't. I was kind of tightly suited up character. I mean, I wore that suit for almost 4 months. So the movie takes place in one day. So, but we did. I think just the whole body language of we did a little bit of gun training, and that was kind of a new way to hold yourself. I mean, I don't.
What about comedic styles? Because I feel like both Dwayne and obviously Kevin, they've got different styles going on. You've got a different style of comedy. As you guys are working it all out, do you kind of find a common ground that you all can mesh with?
Oh my God, I watch Kevin in just absolute awe, because he's very funny. We all know that, but when you see he's in it and he seems out of control, and he's not. And when he starts improvising, he will go off on like 4 different alts of the scene. And then when they turn the camera around and they do coverage, he says, "Oh, I remember I said the thing about the banana here, and I said the thing about that there." And his mind is this like amazing trap, and he's constantly in control and very generous. He's not one of those like funny people. It's like, stand out of the way, you know. And I think that shows beautifully, like, how funny is Dwayne in this movie, you know? He's like holding his own with Kevin. Like, I think people are going to be really like pleasantly surprised to see how hilarious he is.
He is. He's very funny. But you
Yeah.
keep thinking he's going to break and kind of do like he's actually a serious guy. He's a serious, real
Yeah.
CIA guy, and in fact, he keeps on.
He keeps that.
Yeah, he keeps up. Yeah. Do you like improvising? Is that something that you like doing? Is that?
I have such admiration for writers, so I'm always like happy to figure out what they've written first and make that work. I did 2 movies that were completely improvised, and it's terrifying. And ultimately, for myself, I prefer the specificity of a writer.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I'm like, yeah, you know that thing, right? Yeah, you know, like that's the terrible.
You can always
But,
go back to the text. Yeah.
But it was fun, like things on The Office. That was very strictly scripted, and then once Steve went off page, then it was permission for everyone else to follow. And so, depending like who you're doing it with, is like Steve. It was incredible to do that with him.
As you guys started The Office, was Holly's character? Did you know what her arc was going to be? Did they know?
No, I think they just like I was just 1 episode, and then I think they realized they were onto something like with our chemistry, and they're like, okay, let's do a few more, and it just kept growing from there. So I had no idea that.
Wind up giving Michael Scott a goofy kind of love. It's perfect. You guys go off. It's such a beautiful ending. It's so
I like to say there's a lid for every pot.
What about just in acting in general, in whether it's on stage or on film or in TV? What's one of the most important lessons you've ever learned, Amy, about acting from doing any of those things?
Oh gosh. Well, I think like with comedy, it's don't ask for the laugh, and play it deadly serious. I don't know. I've always tried to just get out of the way and let the writing pull you along, and trust the writing if you can. So I think it's just like being kind of just open and grounded, and it sounds a little elusive, but I don't know. I also feel like, well, the body doesn't lie. If you have a stomach ache and your toes are knotted up, chances are you're fudging through this. So you got to go back and find the truth of it, and then it's a bit more relaxing.
Yeah, following a train of thought. You're also a very physical actor in a lot of ways. I mean, I feel like you can be, like in Bridge of Spies, you can be very contained, but when given an opportunity, you can sort of be very expressive and very fun. Do you like kind of being able to do both sides?
Oh, yeah. Well, also like Bridge of Spies, the beauty of doing, the clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, there weren't flexible fabrics in the 1950s, so you had a hug like this. You're so seamed in, and you couldn't really lift your arms up around someone's neck or like throw, hey, buddy, let's go. So they were contained also out of the lack of spandex invented.
They couldn't do a dance like to the ethical dance like you guys did on The Office.
Right.
There's
no.
no wacky dances.
Freedom.
And because Central Intelligence spins around the main idea of a high school reunion, I have to ask: have you ever gone back to a high school reunion back?
Well, yes, I did. Yeah, I got off the plane from LA Saturday night and took the car right to a bar on 23rd Street.
This past Saturday.
This past Saturday, and met my drama class from the High School Performing Arts for my 30-year anniversary. I was like, oh my God, 30 years. It's really intense. It's intense.
Wow. What was it like? Did anybody?
It's great. Everyone looks really good. People are smart. They've figured out their lives. They're like, no one's in trouble. No one's in jail. One divorcee. But, that's all right.
And did they say, we haven't kept up with you, obviously, but we've seen you in films, we've seen you on TV, we know what you've been doing? Was that kind of a strange feeling in some way?
No, it was really sweet, because we were a tight group in school, but everyone's still cheering for everybody else, and that's kind of... Seth Gilliam is in my class as well, from The Wire.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I play Carver, so, I would see him through the years, but... So it was a nice feeling. I always used to dread those things, like, why would I do that? Why would I go? But it's I don't know, you guys look like you're not even ready to go to your 10-year high school reunion, but when you get older, there's something, like, I still feel like a kid. We were talking about this backstage. I'm like, how is that math possible? But it feels like time is happening. I feel like I'm still my 18-year-old self and trying to figure out who I am, and now my 48-year-old self, and I'm still trying to figure out who I am. But it's good to meet the witnesses of your life, you know, and the people who knew you then and they see you now, and you can't pull the wool over their eyes. You can't fool those people, and that's good to have people check you along the way.
I love that, actually. The people who've known you for 30 years, they're the ones who
Yeah.
really know you. Yeah, they've seen you through all stages. Nobody there was a CIA agent, though, I'm taking it, or at least not a government agent, right?
No, well, they didn't reveal that, so it could be.
That's exactly right. We'll take some questions now from the audience. If anyone's ready with a question, just shoot up.
Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm well, thanks.
Thanks for coming. You have such an impressive career, and I was wondering, did you face any obstacles, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, God, all the time. I mean, just auditioning for a job and you don't get it, that to me is an obstacle. But my mother was instrumental. I would be very upset and I'd probably cry. Like, I can't believe I didn't get that. I can't believe she got that. All this kind of compare and despair. And my mother would just say, oh, well, something better is around the corner. I was like, you don't know. She's like, no, something better is around the corner. And time and again, like, that would prove, like, oh, if I had done that job, I wouldn't have been available for this job. And so I just kind of kept that. And I stopped comparing myself to other actors. You know, I was like, oh, they won, great. Now that's one less to worry about. Now let's get us all, the rest of us, sorted out.
Were your parents understanding of your going into acting? Did they get it? Did they understand?
Eventually they did, but they never tried to pull me out of it. So what they didn't understand, they just like, all right, you know. But no, we've always come to the theater, and you know, so it was always a part of our upbringing. You know, when we could afford tickets, go to TKTS booth, and so it wasn't, you know, they understood the beauty of theater and such.
And forced you to get an MBA just to get something in the bed. Just make sure you got that.
No, I would no.
Next question.
Hey, Amy.
Hi.
Thanks for stopping by. Was it hard to keep a straight face when you were doing your scenes with Kevin Hart?
Yes. Yeah, I actually think there's some takes where I feel like my voice is kind of up here, and you know, because it's like you're just holding on tight to everything. Oh, we ruin takes all the time, especially my two CIA agents, because there's that scene with Kevin inside the van, and they have to sit next to him as he's going off, and there's, you know, you have a different track going. You're trying to listen, but you're thinking of, you know, dead cats. I should go do my laundry. What else? Try not to listen. Or you get that like soft focus stare where you don't really look at him, just kind of look at his shoulder. You know.
I like that you said dead cats and your laundry. Like that, those were two. Dead cats and your laundry. And I bet on The Office, there's actually a moment in The Office in watching some of the terrific episodes again where Steve is saying something and you're saying, no, you're in the restaurant in Scranton, and he's going off doing that Michael Scott thing, and you're looking down and you're saying, no. It's moments like that I would probably be difficult as well, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a moment in The Office. Steve had just had one line of some conference, what was the conference room? And he just says, like, oh, these people are coming there, just want to be a bunch of looky-loos. And I say it's not funny. Steve said it, and I was laughing so hard, and it starts that, you know, airless, soundless cry. And because it's multi-camera, they just took the camera off me, and he's still continuing the scene, but I'm standing next to him, and it turned into this like profound, deep, soul-cleansing cry. I was just sobbing. It feels so good to like. I had to reapply makeup, everything. It was deep. I was like, I don't know why, you just make me laugh and cry. It's like, it feels good.
In one scene, inside, you sort of pivoted from comedy to tragedy, all right there.
Oh, yeah.
Little did they know, you just
That's
kind
the
of
best. That's the best way to go through life. You gotta laugh through those tears, as we all unfortunately.
Next question.
Hey, Amy. So this is
Hi.
a totally serious question. On the
Okay.
set of Central Intelligence, did you smell what The Rock was cooking? And if so, what was it exactly?
Did I smell what he ate?
That was his, when he was a wrestler, he would say, can you smell what The Rock is cooking? That was his,
Oh, is that his wrestling tagline?
yeah, from years ago. Was he actually, did he cook on the set? Did he,
Well, you know what? They eat very healthy. He and his team, they're all like, his cousin is a stand-in. They're both like, he's this doppelganger stand-in, and they plates of grilled chicken and rice and avocado. So it's hard to really smell like steamed food, unless it's broccoli. But I'm like, who farted? That's The Rock, But,
That's very fun. But you didn't smell his healthy regime, his healthy regimen.
I did not
No.
smell. Had I known that, I would have like thrown some, Jimmy's, what's his name? Snookafly? Jimmy Snookafly. No, that's not how you say his name. Superfly Jimmy Snooka. I was going to use that name, but that was already taken. When I was in junior high, my male friends used to torture. They used to do like Superfly moves on like the girls. I'm like, get off! What are you doing? Get off of me!
We have time for just one more question, folks.
Hi, Amy. I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie. Did you have to do any training for? I know you're playing an agent, so did you have to do anything, any training or anything physical for?
We did do obviously a lot of like gun safety training on set. They take that very seriously, and actors aren't allowed to touch the guns until cameras are rolling. But we did some tactical training with state troopers and these professionals, and we did these games where you run around like an office like this, and how you take a room, 3 people. If one goes in straight, one will go to the right, one will go to the left. And the guy who's training us, he's like, just find me in this office. And I would come in and I'd be like, there you are. And he goes, well, why didn't you shoot me? I was like, oh, I can't shoot anybody. He's like, you would be dead. Yeah. So that's why I realized, like, this is, maybe I'm taking this down to a different topic with the horrible news, but it's like, it's not fun to play with guns, fake, real, but we were lucky to it's never a joking matter on set. It's like treated with absolute respect. You are the person with the real gun. You know how to handle this, and so we would never make light of that. But it was good to have the training, because at least it looks better in the film.
We were talking about the physicality just a couple of minutes ago. This is sort of a much more physical role for you. You get to run around a lot. You kind of get to jump around and that kind of thing. That must have been fun as well.
I'll tell you for real, there's one scene where we come running out of the van. I don't even know if it's in the movie anymore, but you're like, there he is, go, 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 running, jumping out of the van, running with our guns. And after the second take, I said to the cameraman, I was like, where am I out of frame? When can I stop running? So I was like, okay, let me just reduce that sprint, because
as opposed to comedy, when you know where you're there, right? You're running.
Yeah, this is a workout. I didn't expect to sweat on this film.
Well, all the sweat pays off, ladies and gentlemen. Central Intelligence opens this Friday. Thanks very much, Amy Ryan.
Thank you all so much.